Lady Charmaine, and my guest today hit the scene in a group called City High. They had hits like What Would You Do and that wonderful song called Caramel. And she's here today to talk about her brand new reality show, R&B Divas LA. I want you to help me welcome Miss Claudette Ortiz to the show. Welcome to the show, Claudette.
Hello, thank you.
Well, Claudette, we all get a chance to see you emerge after many years of, not being on the scene. And now we get a chance to see you revive your career. What has this experience been like for you since joining the cast of R&B Divas LA?
Oh, my goodness. It's been a learning experience. It's been a blessing to my family and myself. And an amazing way to meet a lot of great people and talented people. I've really, really enjoyed it so far.
Now, I had heard that you were homeless right before you was doing R&B Divas LA. What was that experience like for you?
Oh man, it was tough. I have 3 children. I did have support of a lot of family, and my mother helped a lot. But it was at the point where I just extended as much as I had. Whatever I had that was all I had left, and I was at the point where I had to make some drastic changes in my life. And I remember just being in the car with all my stuff in my trunk, with my kids in the back, and I just stopped and I prayed, and I said, Lord, I know there's people who had it much harder than me, but just don't forget about me, Lord. And I broke down and I cried and I prayed. And I got a text from the executive producer of R&B Divas that night, and I spoke to friends and family after prayer and consulted my friends and family. Everybody felt as though it was a good move to make, but it was a major move. I would have had to take my kids out of school on the East Coast and relocate to the West Coast and put them in school on the West Coast, and but it was definitely better, but I didn't know that for sure yet. Reality shows can be a little bit negative on the negative side of things, and I didn't know if it would be a positive change for my family or not. So it was still a tough decision, but everything is working out fine.
So
it ended up being a great choice.
I like how you mentioned you had prayed and. You knew that your situation, there was worse people off, than you were, but then you prayed and God answered your prayer almost immediately. You probably had no idea. Isn't it amazing how when we pray, we don't know how God is going to answer, and your blessing came through the form of a reality show?
Exactly.
So, as they say, who would have thunk it?
At my rock bottom, I still tried to, every day remain thankful and thank God just that I could feed my kids, and I would thank him for my health and everything else, even though I didn't have everything that I needed. I had what I needed to survive. So I still try to stay thankful. And like you said, I would have never thought that my blessing would have came, that he would have answered my prayer in that form.
Right.
But it was a pleasant surprise. God is good.
And see, that's a blessing right there. How are your children adjusting from living on the East Coast to the West Coast?
Well, they miss my sisters. They miss their aunties, and they miss my mother. But they like it a lot. They like schools better because I guess lunchtime they get to sit outside and eat because it never rains in Southern California.
Well, that's true.
But they like.
That's good. Now, Claudette, your personality, just watching you on the show, you seem like you are a pretty laid back kind of person, real easygoing, really easy to get along with, according to the show, from what I see on the show. And on Wednesday night's episode, there was a little drama because you guys are doing this great thing called monologues, and you're telling your story, and you even opened up about how you were raped, and so now you're trying to bring that into your monologue and really bringing that across. And so it seemed like last night, because I know Kelly, her schedule is so busy, so she hadn't been able to be a part of what you all were doing with the director. Did you you feel that there was drama coming in during that particular time? Because the director appears to me, because television, they do a lot of editing, appears to me he's doing a great job. How did that make you feel knowing that there was going to be a change coming in because Kelly wasn't happy? How did that make you feel knowing you opened up to this guy and he's helping you with your monologue?
You know what? All that really wasn't a big deal to me, only because of where I had just came from.
Mm-hmm.
Those little things, the little problems that the ladies had were minor to me, and I felt as though, it don't matter to me whichever way we go, and let's just get it done, because we had to do it for the show as well. We had to do it for R&B Divas LA for TV1,
mm-hmm.
Because then they had nothing to film. So it was our job to execute what the plan was. So it didn't bother me. I understood where the confusion was, so I didn't see, why everybody was so upset. We just had to make a decision. I personally came out of some crazy problems, so that was not a major problem to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much how I felt about it. That's where you see that laid backness from me. I do have my spicy moments, but it takes me a lot to get me there. I just was happy to be there. I was just like, hey man, we filming every day. We doing this, we're doing that. This is a blessing. So I'm not complaining about nothing.
You was able to see your blessing and recognize it and understand it. And I'm not getting in that drama because you know where you came from. One thing I noticed on the show is that you like to cook. When you guys were at Kelly's house preparing that wonderful seafood fest for Shantae Moore, where do you get your cooking skills from?
You know what? Back in the day, I guess parents were not as scary as we are now. We're like, oh, the baby get burnt and all that. My aunties and my mother and everybody, they sat me right on the corner and had me throwing stuff in the pan and chopping stuff with a knife. And I was little. I was like 4 or 5. They had me chopping up potatoes and stuff.
Wow.
So it comes from my family. I just putting all that love, and it's really my grandmother and everybody else. We really get into the depth of the art of cooking. So it comes from my family, and then I just had an interest for it as I went into turning into a teenager and adulthood. And then I got married very young, so I wanted to, make sure my husband was happy with the food and my children. And then after that, I did a little bit of research, and I was actually a chef in a restaurant.
Really?
And I also owned a catering business as well. So that's where it came from. I've never had any culinary schooling. I'm self-taught, and I have really delved into books and things like that about it, and I also get into the nutrition of things, and as well as just doing soul food and doing Caribbean food and things like that. But I also like to do healthy things as well.
So you don't just cook, you cook. I'm like, she was like, I was a chef. You had a catering business. Because it looked like you were doing it. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, I know you're going to be reviving your career. What do you see now for your career now that you have this wonderful renewed insight and foresight for your career? Where do you see it going now?
I see plenty of opportunity to pretty much open a door for in any facet that I want to, as far as if it's an album or acting, in which that's what I'm doing. I'm opening those doors. I'm stepping my foot in. I've been behind the scenes for a long time, but I've been honing my craft during all the while. So I am recording songs. We will be coming out with an album and singles, and you can also, there's plenty of things that I put out throughout the years that are on YouTube. If you just type in my name, there's a bunch of songs that I did throughout the years that'll be on there. So you can kind of fill in that gap of not hearing you for a long time, to see where it may be going. So I just see a lot of positive opportunities now.
That's good. Now, for those who may remember that you were in the group City High and you guys had two great songs, what would you do? I mean, I could do that song all day. That song was the bomb. And then Caramel. They made you look all beautiful in bronze and stuff. Girl, you was all glowing in the video. Looking all gorgeous. But you were.
I just came from Puerto Rico when like the day before I was in Puerto Rico. Everybody's like, how you get so brown? Like, I just was in Puerto Rico.
Now, did you go to
It's sunny out there.
Were you really trying to get tan? Because it fit the song perfectly. I just thought you were looking like that because the song was called Caramel.
No, I knew we were doing the video. I knew the date of the video, but I just happened to be in Puerto Rico. I wasn't trying to get tan. I don't know. I was in Puerto Rico. I just got brown. I wasn't trying to get tan. I just happened to be there.
Yeah, because you came back all glowing. It did. 5'5", brown eyes, smile like the sunrise, looking all cute and stuff. I'm like, how she look like that? You was all glowing.
Thank you.
But you guys had two great hits.
That was a long time ago, child.
And it wasn't, you was all young. And before, was that before children? Did you have children at that time looking like that with that shape and everything? Did you have kids?
No. I didn't have any kids yet.
Okay, so that was a BK moment, as we call it, before kids. And so the group was together.
Yeah, I was only like 18 or 19 when we did that video.
And so the group was together. I had read that you guys had even did the song, like, What Would You Do, 2 years prior before it was even released. Is that true?
Oh, yes. That happens a lot of times with music. We actually did it more than 2 years prior to it being
Really?
released. We recorded all of those songs when I was 16. They didn't come out until I was 18.
Wow, because the song, like when the song came out, it was still relevant in the message. And one thing I can say about that song, when you guys put that song together, what were you thinking about? Was those real life situations when you put it together? Did you really know some girls that was really molested by their father? I wanted to know, how did you put that song together?
Yeah.
Really?
We did. We kind of mixed together a few different stories. I didn't know. I knew one situation. We talked about that. It was kind of three different situations that the three of us talked about, and a lot of songs that we did do were kind of socially conscious in that way. But they were never released. They were on the album. But that was pretty much the focus of where we wanted to go with it.
Now, speaking of groups, you were in a group. It was two males, and you were the female. And your group only lasted, was it a year?
No, we were in the group. Well, we were out for 2 years. We were in the group for 5 years.
Okay. And the reason why the reason some groups end up breaking up, because I know you shared some of your story on the television, on the show, so I don't want to get into all of that. Mm-hmm. But the reason why the group break up, because we have so many groups that come out today, but they don't last long. It seems like solo artists might last a little longer than it does with groups. Why didn't your group stay together?
Well, our group didn't stay together specifically because of one of the members. He was business. He wasn't focused on the business. He wouldn't show up and things like that. And he struggled with alcohol abuse and drug abuse. So once I had my oldest son, I didn't want to subject him to that environment. So I decided to leave the group. The reason I think most groups don't last, though, is because you have a lot of different personalities that usually, you start out, you don't know what the business is like. You get into it, you come out, and if it's not a family-oriented type of thing, you grow as people, and you also, you're faced with hardships that you were not expecting from just being in the business and the different challenges that come with that. So that's what I mean. Just from my experience, I think that could be one of the reasons why. It's just like a relationship, if you're with somebody from 15 years old until you're 30, it's not going to be the same relationship as it was when you were 15.
True.
You have two people, two personalities that are growing and changing.
True. And that is so true. Well, Claudette, if people wanted to follow you, are you on Twitter, Facebook? Do you have a website? Where can they find out more information about you?
Yes, ma'am. I am on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. My Twitter and my Instagram is my Claudette, M as in Mary, Y, and then CLAUDETTE.
Real simple. Just real simple.
We are working on the website.
Okay.
Yep, we are working on the website. The website will be up soon. It is going to be myClaudetteOrtiz.com.
Okay, and that's going to be the website. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, I want to say congratulations. I'm glad God opened up a door for you in a way that you probably would have never suspected. And the thing I want people to take away from this interview is that when you pray, you just have to be open to whatever God is going to do. You just can't say, Lord, I want you to bless me, but I need you to bless me this way. You were just open to receive, and it came in the form of a huge blessing. And so thank God you didn't deny it. You accepted it for whatever God's plan was for your life. And I want to remind everyone to make sure you tune in to R&B Divas LA, airing on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on TV1. So thank you so much, Claudette, and I look forward to having you back on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and all the supporters out there. God bless y'all.